everybody, to the upper gun platform here at Fort Mackinac. My name is Ted, I am assisted by Tom, and we are going to be firing a salute to welcome the freighter through the Straits of Mackinac, and to welcome you to the upper gun platform here. Now, folks, to fire a salute shot in the 1880s, 2 soldiers will be dispatched to this upper gun platform to fire the cannon. And the first soldier will be equipped with a little leather thumb patch. You step around the back of the cannon, cover up the touch hole, which makes the cleaning process much safer for Tom, whose first tool is called the gunner's worm, or auger. It's basically a corkscrew device. He'll run it down the barrel and give it a few twists to clean out any debris which has been building up in the back of the cannon from our previous shots. Now in battle, we'd be worming this gun every 2 or 3 shots, but up here at Fort Mackinac, oh, look at all that stuff. We're rather careful about safety, so we worm it every time. Now the next tool Tom is going to use is called the wet swab. It's basically a large, dirty Q-tip dipped in a bucket of water, also run down the barrel, and that is used to extinguish any sparks or glowing embers which are left over from our previous firings. Now it does this in 2 ways. First of all, it is wet and should drown out any sparks. And second of all, that pop sound was a vacuum collapsing inside the barrel. And we would have deprived any sparks of oxygen and caused them to go out. Well, our gun is now clean and is ready to be loaded. And for you folks today, your salute is going to be 3 ounces of black powder wrapped in that historically accurate tinfoil. Now, the soldiers in the 1880s would have been using a cloth bag. However, that had a tendency to throw little bits of flaming cloth onto the park in front of us, and we've been told not to do that anymore. Now, Tom is going to seat the charge using a crooked ramrod, which allows him to stand off to the side of the cannon while he's tamping down on live gunpowder. The soldiers in the 1880s would have been using a straight ramrod, and in 1886 we had a very nasty accident where a cannon fired prematurely. Well, our cannon is now loaded and is ready to be rolled into its firing position. Tom will now step around to the back of the cannon and take out a brass gunner's spike, or gimlet. He'll run that down the touch hole and tear open our tin foil, thus exposing the gunpowder to our ignition device, which is a historically accurate friction primer. A little brass tube full of gunpowder with a pin at the top, rather similar to a hand grenade. When we yank the pin, it will spark. When we yank the pin, it will spark the gunpowder and set off the cannon. Now, Tom is going to put it into this little caging device, which will prevent the little brass tube from flying backwards and landing in the crowd somewhere. We found brass tubes from the 1880s flung as far away as the commissary building. Now, we're not going to pull that pin using our fingers. We're going to pull it using a lanyard, which allows Tom and myself to stand off to the side of the cannon. Because if we really were to fire a cannonball out of this thing, the cannonball would go flying towards the freighter, and the cannon would come rolling towards the crowd. So it's an awfully good thing we don't have a cannonball in it today. Well, folks, we're all set to fire. This will be a great time to cover your ears after all. It's a cannon firing. It's going to be loud. All right, we're all set? Terrific. There are 2 commands to fire this cannon. They are, ready, fire! Now, our next demonstration is going to be a concert event of military and civilian music. It will be commencing in just a few minutes.